Hello everyone, and welcome to the NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar room. Before we get started, I would like to take a moment to test for picture and sound. So if you can hear my voice and see the projection in the room, please type a Y. Perfect, thank you everyone. It looks like I'm coming in loud and clear. My name is Juanita and I work on the NinjaTrader business development team here in our Denver office. We have a very special event for you today with Steve Nison of CandleCharts.com. At this time, I am going to place a poll into the room, and the question is, are you currently using NinjaTrader? While you fill that out, I would like to mention it is important to understand there are substantial risks in trading commodity futures contracts. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstance and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited with your broker and could even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the following link for more information or for a full copy of the CFTC full risk disclosure. Also, please remember that these training webinars are not a solicitation nor a recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This presentation is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to the NinjaTrader brokerage directly at 312-262-1289 or by emailing brokerage-sales@ninjatrader.com. And I'll go ahead and throw that email address in here for those of you who have any questions regarding brokerage items. Okay, so let's go ahead and review our poll results really quick here. It looks like 37% of you are currently using our free license key. 30% of you are currently a lifetime license holder, and 10% of you are leasing a live key, and 30% of you are not yet using NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is free for advanced charting, market analytics, automated strategy development, connecting to a live data provider, and simulated trading. We only charge for our product if and when you decide to trade live through any of our supported brokerages. If you have not already done so, I would invite you to download NinjaTrader for free using the following link. You can also purchase or lease NinjaTrader at the following link. Today, Steve will demonstrate how the Nison Candle software for NinjaTrader can help you identify potential trade opportunities right away. Thank you again for your attendance today, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader room. Go ahead and take it away, Steve.
Great, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be speaking at this special seminar and the recording for NinjaTrader. We go back a long time. We love using NinjaTrader, so I'm excited to show you how you could complement the NinjaTrader software with our Nison Candle scanning software. So first, let me show you. This is our risk disclosure. You could look it over, especially when you're watching on the video. You just put it on pause and this is the second page. For those of you who are currently using candlestick charts, I just normally call them candle charts, a lot of major benefits. This really is not a seminar on basic candle chart patterns, doji, and shooting stars. The assumption is you know that already. If you don't, we have a great resource we'll mention a little bit later on. But the major advantages of candlestick charts are, first of all, they give you they're very easy to understand, uses the same data as a bar chart, open, high, low, and close. The real power of the candlestick charts is they very often give you the first sign of an early reversal, and that means sometimes you'll get an advantage over those who are not using candlestick charts. Safety first trading. This is core. The number one reason people don't trade or invest successfully is they don't take into account risk. And one of the things we always discuss and always recommend is always have a stop before you put in, or anytime you have a trade on. In fact, when I do a trade, I'll set my stop first because that's when we're most objective. Once we're in a trade, and if we have a mental stop on, we always try to second guess ourselves. But if you place a stop just as a trade is put on, that's when you're most objective. But with the safety first, knowing what trades to potentially avoid, because at the end of the day, it's not only how much you potentially made, but how much you potentially lose, because it's all added together. Now, one of the major advantages of the candlestick charts, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, is that we all have our favorite Western charting techniques. All right, I personally like Bollinger Bands. I'll look at horizontal trend lines, a moving average or two moving averages I like, or 20 and 50-day simple moving averages to determine the longer-term trend. If they're both sloping up and the 20 is above the 50-day, I view the longer-term trend as higher. But you have your own favorite techniques, and on the Ninja platform, they have them all. You know, you may look at RSI, you may look at MACD, you may look at Fibonacci retracements. And so what you could do is just pick your favorite Western technicals and add the candlesticks, that is Eastern strategy, to them, because one of the ways to potentially increase the percentages of trades, of course always having a stop, is if a candlestick signal confirms a Western signal. And we'll look at that a little bit later on as well. So the thrust of this fourth bullet point is you're not giving up anything you currently use with all your Western charting techniques. So in fact, what we do here with Ninja is we'll create a custom template with our favorite Western indicators. And then what we'll do is if we see a candlestick signal called up or scanned for by a Nison Candle Scanner, we'll add that candlestick signal onto our template, the Western template, to see if it confirms one of our Western signals. So that's a cool thing you could do within Ninja. Set up a template with your favorite Western signals, and then when I show you how to use Nison Candle Scanner, you throw it onto that template to see if a candlestick signal confirms a Western signal. Works in all markets. Candlestick works in all markets and all time frames. Doesn't matter if it's weekly, daily, intraday. In fact, I use longer term candles. I'll look at weekly and even monthly for my investments. So I don't only use candles for trading, but also for investment. And just to give you a sense of the potency of the candlesticks, here we have some very basic candlestick lines. These are known to, I'm sure, all or most of you. So what's nice about the candlesticks is the shape of the line itself relays who's winning the battle between the bulls and the bears. So we have a candlestick line called a hammer, and it has a very long lower shadow, twice the height of the real body, and the real body could be black or white. And we don't have to know, if this is just based on the name, if it's bullish or bearish. Let's analyze what the line looks like. Now remember, a white real body means that the close is higher than the open. The real bodies are the relationship between the open and the closing. So a white real body means the open is here and the close is here. So the shadow is down here, long lower shadow. So at some time during the session, whether it's intraday, daily, or weekly, the market opened here and sold here, down here, right? But what happened by the end of the session? It rallied to close at the highs. It's okay to have a little bit of an upper shadow and still be a hammer. Even if it's a black real body, it's a hammer. Now let's look at the shape of the shooting star. We can look at the line itself, the candlestick signal, to see if it's potentially bullish or bearish. Bearish, long upper shadow. What is that telling us? That the market is rejecting higher levels. One of two things is going on here. Either the sellers are getting more aggressive, meeting all the demand of the bulls to pull the market down to close at the lows, or buying demand is drying up. But either way, it's telling us the market's rejecting higher levels. And for those new to candles, remember the real body, as I said before, is the relationship between the open and the closing. If it's a black real body, that means the close is under the open. So this is the open, and this is the close. Here we have a bullish engulfing pattern. A white real body engulfs, hence the name, a black real body. What do you think that's telling us about the state of the bulls versus the bears? Who's taking control of the market at that point? Right, the bulls. White real body wrapping around a black real body. And for those of you who are looking at volume, we would be looking for higher volume on the white candle than the black real body. So again, just very, very easy to combine your favorite Western indicators with candlesticks. Here we have a bearish engulfing pattern. The bears are taking control from the bulls. And keep in mind, when we talk about bearish candlestick signals, like a shooting star and engulfing pattern, it doesn't mean necessarily to think about using them to going short in a market. but you could also use them to know when to potentially exit a position. Okay? And that's a challenge sometimes, because when we're entering a trade, we're really kind of proactive. We could wait, we could think about, oh, let's look at the signals, maybe look at the fundamentals, but we could take our time. But once you're in a trade, you're more reactive because you're in the market now. And so you don't have that extra mental equanimity where you could say, okay, I'm going to, let me think about this. When you're in a trade, the market is really kind of in control. And when you get a bearish, assuming you're long, like a bearish candlestick signal, that could be an early potential alert to think about taking some profits. And doji, where the open, notice there's no real body. That's when the opening and closing are the same. During a rally, and doji work better at rallies, by the way, than sell-offs. During a rally, if you get a doji, it's not really bearish. It's more the market is going from bullish to neutral. And the Japanese will say with a doji, the market is tired. So that is a potential turning signal. Again, a lot of nuances I won't have time to go into in this webinar, this brief webinar and recording. For example, you could use the high of the doji as a resistance area. So if the market closes above that, it's a bullish breakout. The low of the hammer potentially should be support. And lots of things you could do with candlestick lines. But as I mentioned before, one of the core concepts, and I wanted to show this slide to really emphasize the importance of continuing using all those Western indicators you have in Ninja. The candlestick, because it uses open, high, low, and close, it's exactly the same as using a bar chart, because the bar line also uses the open, high, low, and close. And what's amazing, until I revealed candlesticks back in the 1980s, think about it, there was not one charting system anywhere in America or Europe that had a candlestick chart. And now the default charting in pretty much all the platforms is a candlestick chart. And the reason for that is because you're getting all the same information as you would with a bar chart on a candlestick chart, but the candle charts, as I mentioned before, very often will give you those early reversals. Okay, now how many of us feel like this? We have these, we actually have a cartoonist that we hire to make cartoons. And how many of us feel like this, right? We missed the bandwagon, market rallies, we feel too late. And that's one of the reasons we developed Nison Candle Scanner. It's called NCS. And it lets you jump on the bandwagon on potential golden opportunities. In other words, getting in just as a potential move may start. And also, I mentioned before, remember at the end of the day, it's not only how much you make, but how much you don't lose. Okay, knowing when to exit or protect your trading or investing portfolio. So I alluded to the fact before that bearish candlestick signals, especially if they confirm a Western signal, say we have a bearish engulfing pattern confirming a prior high, that is a potentially good time to think about exiting a long position, or you may want to trade your protect your portfolio. You may want to move up a trailing stop. So it's really important, in my opinion, to know when to potentially get into a trade, but knowing also when to exit that trade. And that's what Ninja Candle Scanner really does. And what's great, it works with all the platforms, whether you're using a broker platform or the free platform. And you get free market data, including Forex data, which is a great plus. And what I'm briefly going to do is go over these three features of NCS, Nison Candle Scanner, and you'll be able to apply, you can see how you can apply it to the NinjaTrader platform. And the NinjaTrader platform, it's so easy to use, and all you need to know is pretty much a few aspects about how to make a template using the market analyzer. You don't have to know all the nuances of the NinjaTrader. It's so powerful, you can get into more depth. But what's nice about the NCS, we designed it from the ground up to work seamlessly within NinjaTrader. So let's go through highlighting first. And the way that works, very simply, it's a great way to confirm if it's a valid, what we call a Nison candlestick signal. There's a lot of candlestick education out there. I'm a little, actually, I'm kind of flattered that there's so much information out there. It's based on our work. But you want to come to the original source. And what I've been finding happening is that there's a lot of information out there that's really not valid. I spent tens of thousands of dollars and had dozens of books translated from Japanese to English. And so what you're getting from us is, true candlestick signals, not made-up ones over the last few years. These are signals that have been evolved. You may hear things about candles are 400 years old. That's really not true. Rice trading started back in Japan about 400 years ago. And that's where kind of technical analysis started in Japan. But back then, they didn't have a high and a low. They just had a closing price. So the candlesticks really began in earnest in the 1890s, which is earlier than bar charts. So generations of real world use with valid candlestick signals. So getting back to the Nison Candle Scanner with highlighting, all you can do is pull up any chart you want. Nison Candle Scanner will be in the indicator list. And these are all the candlestick signals. A little hard to see now because it's a screenshot, but when you're within Ninja and looking at NCS, you'll be able to see it very, very clearly. And you will have the ability to have these signals. And by the way, we have 14 of my favorite bullish and 14 of my favorite bearish signals within NinjaTrader. And if you're not sure what a signal is, because let's say you have it abbreviated, sometimes you're going to get a lot of signals, and if you have full text, the text may overlap, so you can have it abbreviated. What you could do is mouse over, and notice in the bottom left, it tells you what it is. So let's say you mouse over here. Oh, sorry, I forgot. This one I have to show an arrow. Here we go. There we go. All right. So let's say you mouse over right over here. Now it says rising window. Okay, it says rising window, but you could have it abbreviated, so it may say RW. And then what you could do is mouse over there, and you'll see in the lower corner here, it says rising window. Okay. And one of the great benefits, as I find out from experience, based on feedback we get. All right, so here again, with a click of the mouse, you can have all your candle patterns, all my favorite candle patterns, highlighted instantly. And where that's important is notice these two. Okay, whoops, sorry. Notice there's shooting star over here. See, it says shooting star with number 1. And to refresh your memory, a shooting star is a candlestick with a very long upper shadow and small wheel body at the bottom end of the trading range. And so this says shooting star at number 1. Now, notice number 2. This would meet the definition of a shooting star. But notice it doesn't say shooting star within NCS. Why is that? Because all the candlestick signals not only require the shape of the candlestick line to be correct, but it also requires a prior trend. A shooting star as a potential bearish reversal signal needs to come after an uptrend, even a short-term one. And notice that did occur with number 1. Number 2 came after a downtrend, so that is why NCS did not pick it up as a shooting star. And we have proprietary ways of gauging trend to make sure that the candlestick signal is correct. So what's nice about this is that if you're not sure if something's a bullish engulfing pattern or a bearish engulfing pattern or a shooting star, you just pull up the chart, use Nison Candlestick NCS within your indicator list, and boom, you'll see if the pattern is valid or not. Now, the next thing is really good for intraday traders, real-time alerts. And what that lets you do is get potential entry and exit signals before other traders see them, especially with intraday. Sometimes it's a matter of minutes or even seconds before you're able to get in before other traders see a potential trade, especially if you're trading really short term. So opportunity alerts catch the potential money-making opportunities you may have missed. What you could do is, and what's going to happen, again, this may not be that clear. It's actually not too bad. These are screenshots. And as I mentioned before, don't worry, when you're using NCS, it's perfectly clear. But you could pull up any and all of my favorite candlestick signals, and you could turn them on or off. So here we have, you notice it says hammer is yes. So that's the only one we're interested in looking at for now. And then you put in how you want to be alerted. And as we know, Ninja has lots of great ways to be alerted. What I'll do actually is I'll have a sound come up on my computer. And what happens is if any of the markets in your watch list, you could have, a 5-minute chart or a 5-minute market of Amazon, 30-minute of Google. You can populate your watch list with a whole bunch of different time frames and intraday charts. And any time any of those markets, let's say we have a 5-minute Amazon, and after the 5-minute period, if a hammer is made, you will be alerted. Okay, so this is your watch list, and if any of these within, let's say, okay, so let's say you're looking at the, let's say you're looking at, let's pick one. Okay, so let's say you're looking at the diamonds. All right, if that diamond in the 5-minute chart has a hammer, it'll pop up. Okay, you'll be instantly alerted which market has that signal. So you may want to have hammer, you may want to have a piercing pattern. As many signals as you want, you will be instantly alerted. Okay. And what we do here is we actually set up an alert list. So we'll have the markets we're looking at, and anytime, so let's say we have, okay, say we have Starbucks, and we have Starbucks SBUX, and we have that on a 5-minute chart. If at the end of the 5-minute chart it makes any of my candlestick signals, like in this case a shooting star, it'll actually say shooting star. We can have like Apple. At the end, let's say we have an Apple, a 30-minute chart or an hour chart. If it makes any of my candlestick signals, it'll show it. And then what you do is you click on it. So here we, for example, in Starbucks, we had a shooting star. You just click on it, and the shooting star, the chart will come up showing you the shooting star. Now, it's very important. I'm going to mention this later to reinforce it, but I do want to mention it now. The NCS is not a buy-sell program. Just because you see a shooting star doesn't mean you think about exiting a trade or doing a bear trade. What NCS does is set up potential trading opportunities. So if I saw, let's say you have a Western template, or let's say you didn't. Let's say you put up Starbucks and there's a clear-cut, multi-tested horizontal resistance line. If we see a shooting star confirming the resistance, that to me would say, okay, maybe we have a little higher probability of the market reversing than we would if we had a shooting star not confirming resistance. So these are potential trade setups, but then you'll need to use your own education to decide if you're going to actually pull the trigger or not. And one of the things we always have to think about, again, this is not a course on detailed candle theory and using candles, but we always have to think about risk reward. You could have a great bullish or bearish candlestick signal, and even if it confirms a Western signal, if it's a bad risk reward trade, we would normally suggest standing aside. Here's that shooting star. The real power, the potency of NCS, hence the name, is scanning. And what used to take me hours and hours, I mean, how many hours does it normally take you to find markets to think about trading? Because think about this. When we're trading, we need 3 things: when to enter, when to exit, and which markets to trade or potentially trade. And it literally would take me hours each night to find great potential markets. What Nison Candle Scanner will do is let you filter, let you scan hundreds of markets, all the S&P. For example, we have a watch list of option markets. You may have a watch list of ETFs. Whatever you have in your watch list, whatever you want scanned, NCS will do that. So let's say you have the NASDAQ 100, and you're looking for bullish engulfing patterns in the NASDAQ 100. It'll scan through them, depending on the power of your computer, within seconds, and then show you those markets that have bullish engulfing patterns. Let me show you how it works very quickly. Okay, so you can pick any and all of my favorite 28 candlestick signals, 14 bullish and 14 bearish. Okay, actually, it's 12 bullish and 12 bearish, and Doji and Harami are actually neutral signals. So you could have everything turned to no or yes. You can pick any of them you want. All right, so let's say we have a bear Harami, and say the watch list we decide to do is, let's say the S&P. I'm not sure which one we did here, but you can have your own instruments added. You can create a custom watch list, as you know. You could scan the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. And then what it'll do is whatever watch list you pick, it being NCS, will scan through everything and pick all those markets that have that pattern. So let's say, it's the S&P 500. So here we have, B of A, there's a bear Harami. What does that mean? What you do is you click on bear Harami, okay? And then boom, the chart will come up, and then, as I mentioned a couple of seconds ago, then you could go into your more in-depth analysis. Do you think about selling on this bear Harami, which is, a bear Harami, by the way, is a small real body in a large real body. But for those of you who are familiar with candles, I don't think I'd be bearish here, because what do we have? Well, anybody recognize what that is? Right, a rising window. Okay, the Japanese call a gap, a rising window. That normally becomes potential support. So the way I personally would be trading this is set up an alert. Again, NCS makes it really easy to set up an alert. Set up an alert if the market closes, because the rising window should be support. So you could set up an alert if the market closes under that horizontal area that I just drew with the arrow. If it closes under there, that would be a break of support, and then you could think about either selling it or exiting on a long position. So very important, always think about what we call candles in context. NCS is great at giving you those candlestick signals, but you need education on how to use them correctly. So here's an example. Okay, we could potentially buy here on this bullish engulfing pattern. And what's great about the candles is you could use them to set protective stops, because the low of a bullish engulfing pattern should be a support area. So if you're buying on this bullish engulfing pattern, remember, you need to wait for the close to confirm the candle signal. Where do you set your protective stop? Under the low of the bullish engulfing pattern. Okay, there's always a price that says you're wrong. Candlesticks, as great as they are not perfect. No technical system is. When I talk about the candles and they're not perfect, I use a Japanese proverb that says even monkeys fall from trees. Okay, nothing is 100%. So let's say we buy on this bullish engulfing pattern, and here we could use this bearish engulfing pattern to think about exiting. Okay, so you can see the bears are taking control of the market from the bulls. And here we have it abbreviated. It's a little hard to see here, but there's a little plus B. And here's a plus E for a bullish engulfing pattern, and a minus E. And again, when you see this within the real NCS, it's perfectly clear. And if you mouse over, this is not a live screenshot, so it won't work. But if you mouse over here, over the S, and I've just kind of wrote over the minus E, it'll show bearish engulfing pattern in the lower left. And this is what it's all about. Let NCS do the work for you. We are all busy with our lives, and what NCS will do is save potentially hours of time to find patterns and markets. In fact, the very first thing we all do here with our trade setups, very first thing is scan it within NinjaTrader using NCS, and that gives us our watch list of potential trade candidates. So here, nice little kind of chart challenge. Okay, these are all piercing patterns, and that is when a green candle gets more than halfway into the white candle. Which of these piercing patterns do you think looks like a potential trading opportunity, and why? And for those watching this as a video, just put the play control and pause, and you can hear my answer. Okay, and I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Okay, so Adam is saying the third one. Okay. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That's the second one, right? Third one, number 3. And the reason for that? Right, James, exactly. Yeah, and this is one of my favorite Western indicators. I use real simple horizontal support and resistance. Exactly. So to me, the piercing pattern, the third piercing pattern, gives a a better potential trading opportunity. And one of the things I really like is what the Japanese candles don't give you price targets. So whenever you set up a potential trade, you need to determine, one, what your stop out level is, and two, that's your risk, and what your profit potential is. That's your potential reward. Hence, that's how you get risk reward. And so candles don't give you price targets. So what I really like are when markets are in boxed ranges. So here we have a box range. See, here's the top of the box. The Japanese call a lateral trading environment a box range because it looks like a box. So in this case here, the market had a double bottom, and you have a couple of resistance zones. I look at the prior high as first one, but this one was tested multiple times over here. So that would be my potential target up in this zone over here. So you can think about taking profits over here. Of course, you know, nothing wrong with maybe taking profits on this doji over here, lock in some profits, or you could set up a trailing stop. But the point is, see, these are all piercing patterns, but you may treat them a little differently because of the overall technical picture, what I call, you know, again, candles in context. And I mentioned this before. I forgot I had this as a cartoon. Money made is money made plus money not lost. Okay. And so here we have a series of NCS signals. You can lock in profits and protect your portfolio. Okay, so here's a potential buy, and here's the target, the recent high. And remember I said before, a lot of the candlestick patterns could be used as support or resistance. So if you buy it again on this bullish engulfing pattern, and you know, could be for all markets and all time frames. So, but getting back to this, you set a stop under the low of the bullish engulfing pattern. And here, see this bearish engulfing pattern? You could use the high of the bearish engulfing pattern as a resistance area. And then over here, we got actually something called a dark cloud cover. And a dark cloud cover, it's similar to a bearish engulfing pattern, except the red real body doesn't wrap around the green real body, but it's a bearish signal. So this is something to really pay attention to, because here you have a dark cloud cover. See, NCS calls it minus DC, confirming a resistance area. And so from the long side, okay, this could be a profit potential. This is the time to exit on the close over here. But let's say, you know, getting back to, and by the way, Mike, yeah, these work in Ninja 7 and 8, and all these charts are Ninja 8, but it works in Ninja 7 also. But you know, we switched over to Ninja 8. It's great. Lots of really cool benefits in the Ninja 8. Now, but let's say, you know, since we were talking about option trades, and again, I'm not sure what market. This happens to be a Forex market. But let's say this was, I don't know, let's say on Google. Okay, nobody trades Google or Apple outright. It's too expensive. So let's say, you know, we get a dark cloud cover within NCS and Google, and where would your potential target be? Maybe the low over here. All right. So now market's at a support area over here. Okay, any potential reversal signals? Let's say we're bearish. We do a bear option trade at the arrow over here. Okay, we have a protective stop, you know, above the, you know, say we have a protective stop somewhere over here. So where would you think about taking some profits on your option trade? You know, maybe some over here, a little bullish engulfing pattern over here, right? But is this bullish engulfing pattern confirming a support area? Okay. How about this bullish engulfing pattern? Is that confirming a support area? Sure. So this is a great place to lock in some potential profits on the bear side. Now, for those of you who invest, and I'll give you details, we have a great new plan on NCS for those of you who decide to invest in NCS. You will get really great tech support. Sil, he's a Nison certified trainer. What do we mean by a Nison certified trainer? Well, he's been personally trained by me to know the candles inside out. He does many seminars for us. He's a real, he's the go-to person for NCS, and he will be there to help you with any support. NCS is really easy to use, but I just wanted to give you a little heads up on this to show how, just in case you do need some support, he still is there to help you. And we have lots of resources. When you invest in it, you'll be getting a link taking you to what we call Candle Charts Academy, and this is where we have all our educational resources. We've done really great short videos to get you up to speed very quickly on using the Nison Candle Scanner for NinjaTrader. All right, and you don't have to, well, Ninja you know already, right? So you don't have to learn all of Ninja. I made reference to that before. Main things you need to know are maybe set up an alert using the market analyzer and so forth, and how to use indicators. I always use the Control-I shortcut for the indicators. And you just need a few simple tools. And there's no software. You don't have to worry about waiting by your mailbox for software. You just download, you get a link, we give you a code, and you're up and running within minutes. And we have all sorts of videos. We have best practices videos, lots of great videos to really get you up to speed. And again, if you need it, Sil is there to help you. All right. And we added a new bonus training thing. Okay, since Ninja now has international markets, we set up a new video using NCS within the international markets. And I mentioned this before, but I wanted to make it a separate slide. What you're going to see within NCS are little green arrows and red arrows, upward pointing and downward pointing. So if you have a bullish engulfing pattern, you may have a little plus E with an upward pointing arrow. If you have a bearish engulfing pattern, you may have a little, you will have a down red pointing arrow in the minus E. Up and down, the arrows don't mean you put on a trade based on that. It doesn't generate automatic buy and sell signals. NCS is really not designed for that. It's designed to save you hours and hours and hours of time to filter through all the markets to find my favorite candlestick signals to give you potential, and I highlighted the word potential, candlestick potential trade setups. And we added many bonuses as a thank you to NinjaTrader inviting us. Normally, NCS comes with scanning only for equities, but we've decided to give you a free upgrade. You don't have to do anything. When you invest in it, you will be getting what we call NCS Pro, and what that does is allow you to use NCS on intraday and Forex, because we have separate modules, but we incorporated all of them into NCS Pro, so that is yours at no extra cost. So instead of getting just the regular NCS, which works only with equities, you're going to be getting Pro, which works with equities and intraday and Forex. And one of the cool things we've done recently is we've added strict criteria candlestick signals. What does strict criteria mean? Well, what we've done is we've tightened the candle pattern criteria to give higher potential probabilities of reversal signals, greater confidence. And what do we mean by that? Well, let's think about this. Now, a hammer, remember the hammer is that long lower shadow candlestick signal that had a long lower shadow, twice the height of the real body. And I mentioned it could be a black or white real body at the top of the signal. Now, a black real body hammer means that the market did not close on the high. It's still, positive because the lower shadow shows us the market rejected lower levels. But a strict criteria hammer has a close at or near the high, so white real body, because my thinking is that if the market closes on the high with a hammer, that to me shows more demand than it would be if we had a hammer with a black real body that did not, which means it didn't close on the high. So we've tightened the candle criteria. And within NCS, you have your choice to use strict or standard criteria. So for example, here's a recent scan we ran, and we asked it to pick up bearish engulfing patterns. And the first column is just traditional bearish engulfing patterns where black real body wraps around a white real body. The second column, and you have the ability to pick strict or not, these are strict. Which of these markets have strict criteria candlestick signals for a bearish engulfing pattern? And what that means is it could even further down, narrow down even further the watch list of markets you may want to think about using. So you have the ability to use strict criteria or basic criteria. And let me give you details, and I'll tell you how you can get education for those new to candles. Now, what we've done recently is we made this available, this being NCS, in a monthly subscription. So you can go to this link here. I think it's going to be posted, but you can go to this link here. It's a long link. HTTP, or you can do www, same thing, candlecharts.com/special/NCS NinjaTrader exclusive. Okay, thanks for posting that. All right, and for those of you who want somebody else to install NCS for you, it's really easy to do. But if you're as busy as me, I don't mind paying a few dollars to have somebody else do all the work for me. So we have what we call white glove remote software installation and setup. They could set up your NCS for you. That would be SIL doing it, and they just install it on your computer. That's an optional service if you don't want to install it. It's really, really easy. But it's nice about having SIL do it. He could kind of give you little hints about using NCS while he's doing this. But what will happen is when you go to that link that was just posted, once you invest in NCS, you'll see a link come up for white glove remote service installation. And for NCS, I show you as a special bonus how I use it. It's a video that I did, how I personally use Ninja and NCS within Ninja to set up my own trades. So you can see real world experiences on how I do that. And really to get you up to speed, we also give you insider access. SIL's been doing a lot of best practice videos on using NCS, little hints, tips and tricks. It's a little hard to say. And so you can view those immediately when you invest in NCS. And what I've done is, if this is kind of a fast action bonus, is I made a quick pattern, candle pattern quick reference video. So all the signals within NCS, I do like a little 2 or 3 minute description of what a piercing pattern is, what a morning star is, and I also tell you the difference between a regular morning star and a strict criteria morning star. And this also is a video, and that's a great resource to use time and time again. Even for those of you who are familiar with candles, I mean, it's obviously good for those who are new to candles, but even for those of you familiar with candles, you may not come across some of the candlestick signals very often, like a rising 3 methods, and this is a great resource you could use time and time again to get some education on candlesticks. Okay, so here are the details. Okay, that's the link, and this is just a screenshot of the information page, so you don't have to worry about reading it now. But essentially the goal really, and I designed NCS for me. I was kind of selfish because I really didn't want to spend hours and hours of time trying to find the best potential trade candidates. So I designed it for me, but then I decided to release it to the public. And so you could read this on the information page on that link. And what we've done is, if you do the monthly plan, which is what the link will take you to, if you decide on lifetime within the first month, okay, you're going to get full credit for that month applied to the lifetime. And what's nice about lifetime is whenever we do an upgrade, like we did recently with the strict criteria, you will have access to any upgrades. And if you have any questions, okay, you can contact Paul at candlecharts.com, and that C doesn't have to be capital. Okay. I don't know if it matters if it's not or not, if it is or not. So with that, I want to thank you so much, and stay around just for a couple of questions. On anything we've done today. Other than that, you can just contact Paul. And by the way, the special pricing on this and the bonuses are going to end very, very soon. Okay, so it's $199 for the month. And again, that is all applied to, for anybody who takes advantage of this, will apply to the lifetime. Okay, any other questions? Great. Okay, thanks. I'll turn it over to you now.
Okay, thanks, Steve. I just want to give a special thank you to Steve today for a great presentation in the NinjaTrader ecosystem room. NinjaTrader ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you find value in these events, we hope that you do attend them on a regular basis. We would like to remind you the information provided in this was that of Steve Nison of CandleCharts.com and not of NinjaTraders. All information was for educational purposes only and should not be considered as trading advice. Again, I'm just going to throw our link in the room here for upcoming training events that we have for platform training. Again, we do appreciate the time you spend with us. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future events. Happy trading from all of us here at NinjaTrader.